Hello humans, I'm back with a dose of alarmism, with this one from the Express about Oxford's 15-minute city plans and the worry that Labour wants to roll this out nationwide. Labour ministers have drawn up plans which will see local councils handed powers to use a database of drivers' details to slap fines on those who pass through traffic filters intended to limit access to certain places. So councils get access to DVLA data, cameras track your car, you get fined if you cross certain lines too many times. That's not paranoia. That's literally what they're describing in the scheme. If you've got concerns about surveillance infrastructure being built for one purpose and then expanded for others, this is your Orwellian nightmare coming true. Oxford, which is actively implementing a plan to introduce the scheme, has seen its local authority plot to divide the city into 6 15-minute neighbourhoods. This would see drivers needing to secure a permit for residents so that they could travel for 100 days for free through the traffic filters in the city. A separate permit would allow just 25 days of free travel, with drivers hit with fines should they move around the city beyond those allocated days. 100 days sounds generous until you do the maths. That's less than every third day for the year. And 25 days on the lesser permit. That's less than once a fortnight. If you're caring for elderly parents across town, doing the school run to a different neighbourhood, working a job that requires you to cross these filters, you're suddenly counting your trips like rollover minutes on an old phone contract. The people worried about this aren't seeing a traffic scheme. They're seeing a rationing system for movement. Different game entirely. Greg Smith, Shadow Transport Minister, told the Sunday Telegraph, "This is the blueprint for a national rollout. Labour has given the green light for draconian councils like Oxfordshire to police how people live, move and drive using cameras and fines backed by DVLA data. If Oxford is the test server, people are already speedrunning the implications. They're asking, what happens when this patches nationwide? What stops them lowering the day count once the infrastructure's in place? That's not conspiracy thinking. That's systems thinking. Once the cameras exist, once the database links are established, the knobs can be turned." Duncan Smith from the Alliance of British Drivers added, "It is an encroachment on civil liberties, and it is a page out of the East Germany playbook. With the 15-minute city, you will have to, in effect, apply for an internal passport to go and visit your granny. From a civil liberties perspective, it is nonsensical. From an operational point of view, it is bizarre. The East Germany comparison sounds inflammatory, but follow the logic chain for a second. If you need permission from the state to move through your own city without financial penalty, if that movement is tracked by camera and database, if exceeding your allocation triggers enforcement, what's the structural difference from a movement permit system? The mechanism is softer, fines rather than arrests, but the architecture is similar. People running zero trust protocols on government intentions see the same level design from previous games. They've been here before. That recognition isn't irrational." A Department for Transport spokesman said, "Local councils use DVLA data to help keep our roads safe and crack down on dangerous driving. How they use this information is up to each council, so it works best for their communities." And here's the government's response, and honestly, it's bollocks. Keeping roads safe and crack down on dangerous driving. But the scheme described isn't about dangerous driving. It's about any driving beyond your permit allocation. That gap between the stated purpose and the actual implementation, that's exactly the pattern that makes people distrust official explanations. The fork in the road here is trust. If you believe this is genuinely about congestion and air quality, you might accept the trade-offs. If you've watched mission creep happen with congestion charges, les zones and parking enforcement, you're seeing a different trajectory. Anyway, humans, I'll leave it there. Like and subscribe and all that other good stuff, and I'll see you on the next one.